Hello and welcome to All in Motion. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you might be. This is episode 51, growing up in Harlem, New York City. And if you know Scar City, what you all do, he's the host, partner here at AIM. He grew up in Harlem. Our guest is from Harlem, so which makes it really unique episode. Rae Rae shares a big piece of her story and explains why physical training is such an important part of her life. Everyone calls me the discipline queen, she says, because she is up to 111 weeks, and tomorrow will make week 112 and day number 1. Congratulations. No days off from exercising. Plus, I'm a designer and entrepreneur. I'm writing my first book called Woo That Hat. Ladies and gentlemen, Rae Rae Jinks. Thank you all for taking the time to be here. We have Rae Rae Jenks from New York City. How we doing?
I'm doing great, full of energy, full of life, and just feeling fantastic. It's a new day, a new way to moving towards the best you and being who you want to be.
So what's going on? What's going on in New York City today?
Well, it's kind of steamy hot, every day I get up and I write about things that are going on in New York City, where I'm at, uptown in Harlem. I'm in the Sugar Hill Heights. They call it Hamilton Heights, but a long time ago it was called Sugar Hill. I'm on Sugar Hill / Hamilton Heights, and it's kind of steamy, humid. I was outside today. It was nice, a lot of flow of people, all different nationalities flowing around, walking around. They're fixing the park over here. Everything was great.
That's awesome. So Rae Rae, we want to know all motion, just to dive and just get into it. You're originally born and bred in NYC, right?
Absolutely. Yep. I'm born in Harlem, on Central Harlem, which is like between Spanish Harlem, like 116th Street, Lenox, and Malcolm X Boulevard. And I'm born from that area, where all the church folks was at. I come from a religious background. My mom was Jehovah's Witness. And yes, I did have to knock on those doors in Harlem on Saturday when I was a little girl. But yeah, I'm from Harlem. It was nice. What can I say? When we was growing up in Harlem, it was just very different. It's different because your mom had to pay a lot of attention to you. She had to know where you were from hour to hour, from school to playtime to everything. It was very monetized, I should say it that way. And we didn't have cell phones back then. So, but it's okay that we didn't. It was fine. I'm a middle girl. I'm a middle child. I'm the middle of the family. And so it's 4 boys and 3 girls, and I'm the middle of the girls. And I'm also born in the middle of the month, so I'm 3 middles. It was fun. I used to hang out, not with my sister. I just had a little different personality growing up. I always hung out with one little girl, and she was an only child. Her name was Dolores. And we used to go to ballet school together, and we used to have a great time. I was very shy. I didn't talk a lot. Me and Dolores used to hang out. She used to be my talking doll baby or something like that. And she was actually she was Puerto Rican and Irish, and her mom was very different. And it was so funny because you could always tell English people, they like butter on everything, like they like butter on bread with bologna, and I just didn't see it. So a lot of times when I was a child, I was a picky eater, so I wouldn't eat the food, but I dealt with it. So it was fun. I used to do dance classes with Dolores. My brothers, I hung out more with my brothers, and my brother was very talented. God rest his soul, he passed away, Norman. And Norman used to sketch everything from toy soldiers to trees to everything. He always had a knack. He won awards at a very young age. So I used to hang out with him and his comic book group. And we used to play all the time. I wasn't really into baby doll playing. I was more like a sci-fi kind of girl. So I used to like making bombs in the kitchen, trying to make a bomb in the kitchen with my mother and out of baking soda. And then we used to play. We used to play, hang on bunk beds, roll down bunk beds. We used to play all the time, go to the park. We used to do a lot. I used to always be with my brothers, more so than my older sisters. So that's basically it. And we stayed in the house, and my mother was always, she was very overprotective of us. So she didn't always let us. And I'm also from older parents. So it's different when you're from older parents. They're very overprotective.
Right. And I was gonna bring up actually, like, what does it take to, you think, be a person to live in New York City to survive?
It's busy. It's busy. So whoever, if you have a lot of energy, it'll be good for you. If you're curious, it's great for you. If you kind of like a person that's nosy, it's not good for you because people don't care. And it's a little different. It's dealing with all nationalities, and everybody is quick. Nobody spends a second dwelling on stuff and repeating. They just move along, keep it going, and they're not so. I don't find New York people to be so depressed because I think a lot of times with moving around, you're just so busy, you just got to figure out the pattern of what you're doing next. So when you're doing like, I'll give you, for instance, when you're on the train, you have to make sure you're focused because there's a lot of things could go good or bad, but you have to know how to watch out. So that's why I say New York is good, but it's definitely fast, but it's not like you can't involve yourself into it or wind into it, because I believe that it's challenging and courageous, but it'll definitely make you focus on what you really want.
That's awesome. And I just want to, this is a perfect transition because you and I, and even Scar City spoke a lot about this. And when I first met you, we spoke about this, which is really cool. You went to design school, correct?
Yeah, I went to design school, but I won awards. How I got into design was when I was we lived in Brooklyn. We lived in Manhattan, and then my mother wanted to move to Brooklyn because she could get more rooms for us. And I'm from a family of 7. And so I won awards. I just started designing. I don't know how I started designing so much. I just always was able to be creative. Creativity runs in my family. So my brother's like that. My mother was like that. My father was like that. But nobody made $1 million off of it, but I have the talent in me. So I went to a school in Brooklyn called Gershwin High, and we had a class with sewing. And I designed this dress, and I remember as clear as day. It was a dress. I don't even have it because I've lost so many things over the years of moving. But in any event, it was like a burgundy color, and it was a burgundy color paisley print, and I matched the paisley print up, and it was a V-neck dress with bell bottom, like puffy sleeves. It was drama. And it just matched up so perfect. I sewed it so perfect that I won an award for it, to be honest. And that's how I began my design trails. And I went to the High School of Fashion Industry, and I thought I wanted to be a clothing designer, but I really didn't like clothing designing at all. And sometimes you have to pay attention to creativity because you have to do it with such a passion that you can't get involved with the idea of saying, oh, I could do that better than somebody. It's not about competition. It's about being the best you and showing off your talent the best way you can.
This is crazy. Yeah, to your point, this is crazy because my sister, she works for a company, and she's a buyer, right? But she works with designers, and she told me to exactly what you're saying right now, how complicated it can be to work with those designers because of their personalities.
Oh yeah. They got I don't know, to be honest with you. I know in school they let you, in high school they let you intern, and I wasn't good at being an intern. I just wasn't, because I couldn't get into that mindset, because they want everything so perfect. And it's an illusion world. I love design, trust me, don't get me wrong, but they're disillusioned about that fantasy. They're always into trying to be something they're not, or they're trying to get a look that's not realistic. They're just always into that realm of just that fakeness. And some people could flow with it and some people can't. I could not flow with it, to be honest, because I remember I was on a job and I was working with a lady. She was doing undergarments. I think she was doing bras and panties. And I had the assignment of cutting the elastic. So I cut the elastic too long or too short, or I stretched it, because I never worked with it. Instead of her training me and showing me, she didn't do that. She just said, here, just take it, and maybe because I'm Black, or maybe, that's why she did it. I don't know. Like, I'm not into being racist or anything in any kind of way when it comes to styling and designing. I really don't care, because creativity has no color. You just either you do it or you don't. It's either you have it or you don't. It's not like that at all. But in any event, so she got mad at me, and I just said, I don't want this job, and I quit. I just quit. And I think I was like 15. Yeah, I quit.
That's awesome.
Just like that.
No, hey, sometimes you gotta cut those ties. So just lastly, onto this last part of the question is the fact that you designed some hats for some very prominent people. I would say it is.
Yeah. Well, all right. So I went to when I was in high school, I also attended FIT. So I went to school for advertising, and I took advertising. Then I went into graphic design, and then I kept going with design. So I decided to finish my degree and get a degree in graphics. So in graphics, you learn a lot. You always learn a lot when you're designing, because if you could design anything, you could design a lot. It's just that simple. So my degree is not in designing hats. My degree is in graphics. So just to get that clear, because I don't want people to get it mixed up that I'm a hat designer. I'm not a hat designer. I was never trained as a hat designer. I just did it because I had an accident on my face, and that's going to be in my book, Whoa, That Hat. It's coming out soon, and that story I'm going to save for that. And maybe I'll come on this podcast again so that you guys can hear that anything is possible. It depends on how you think and how you want to, produce for yourself. So I had an accident with my face, and I was embarrassed about it, how it happened, because I have really smooth skin. And, I don't know if it's flawless to me, other people, but I always take care of it too. But in any event, I made a mistake with my skin, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So, because I have a design background, I always think of things to just try to do it, make up something, make it up, improvise. Come on, improvise. I always do that. And so that's how I got into designing hats. So I had to start covering my accident I had on my face. And that's how I started designing the hats. And I just kept going to rummage sales and getting hats, redesigning them, creating them. And then one day I was at church and I had this hat on. I thought the hat was the worst thing you could think of. And it's so funny because I said, this hat looks so stupid. I had redesigned a hat. And I said, look, because I was having fights with my boyfriend and I was going to break up with him, and he cheated on me all the time, blah, 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 this and that. And so I said, you got to wear this hat to church. And so lo and behold, I wore the hat to church because it was a Saturday. I think, it was a Saturday that I was designing the hat. And on Sunday, I wore the hat. And I walked in with the hat on, and the late, great Andre Leon Talley was there. And he said, "That hat is fabulous." And I was like, oh my God. I could not
Oh,
believe it.
that's pretty cool though. That's a cool story.
I could not believe it.
Isn't that a cool story?
I just couldn't believe it. I just really couldn't believe it. He said, "That hat is fabulous." He said, "Can you make me one of those hats?" And I said, "Absolutely." And then it was Sunday. The next day I got up, and I'm telling you, and I just threw that hat together, and I thought it was awful. And I threw that, I just had to go in the garment district in New York City, which is like 30, it's in the 30s, 27, 30s, 34th street area, 6th and 7th Avenue. And so I went hunting for a hat designer to help me make the hat that I made, and I had to recreate it for Andre.
Is that prominent? I know I don't want to get off topic, but that area that's like below Midtown a little bit. Is that primarily like the garment and the designer district of New York City, that 27th 30th Street, like you just said?
Yeah, exactly. It's in between, it's like Battery Park area and lower. So Battery Park is like 42nd Street and 6th and it's 7th and 6th. No, it's 6th and 5th Avenue. Around that area, it's all over. So, but it's going downtown. So it's like 42nd, 41st, 40, going downtown. So it's 39th, and so and so and so forth. That's all of the accessory areas.
I got
So
you.
you can buy hats. They got hat vendors, they have accessories, they have stuff that you could put on there, like lace and buttons and stuff like that. So that is the area of Manhattan that's caters towards designing hats and clothing.
That's important for people to know, like, especially around the world, because New York Fashion Week and obviously, in France and Italy, they do their own thing as well. But just want to roll right into it. We spoke about it offline and want to touch on it about fitness and physical and mental health. To you, you work out every day. It reminds me because I got hurt in the military, and I think it's amazing how it's a really big part of what you do. And why is it so important that you train every day?
Well, let me tell you something. If you do not work out every day, you are missing out on being the best you. And I always want to be the best me. So I think to live life full, it helps you out so much. It helps me think, it helps me focus, it keeps me grounded. I'm up to 110 weeks nonstop exercising. I'm on day 6 today. Yeah, and I feel great.
Congratulations.
And I know some people say, yeah, thank you. Some people say congratulations, but I don't really necessarily do it for the, the highlights and, the sparkles and all those things.
You don't do it for the accolades. You don't do it for
No,
that.
I don't do it for that. I really do it because it really makes you feel great, body, soul, mind, and spirit. And you want to keep your if you have any mental issues, you need to work out. That's all I can tell you. If you work out, you get how do I say? I'm trying to say it
Your
so
body
people
releases endorphins
endorphins, your endorphins.
and
Yeah.
oxytocin, you know what I mean? Like the love drug, but at the same time, because when I used to work out, to your point, when I would come out the gym and I had to be careful because of my back, because of the military, what have you, but no, like for me, and I spoke to even my sister, my mom are both they were both in ballet. I think you mentioned ballet earlier. Excuse me. I found that regardless of how I look physically, it helps me therapeutically, if that makes sense. And
Absolutely.
I don't know if that
It
does the same for
really
you as
helps
well.
you a lot.
I don't. Does that do the same for you, like in your own mental health?
Oh yeah, I love working out. I will never stop working out. I don't care what nobody says. I know the doctor. It's so funny because the doctor said, you better be careful. He said, I don't have the most positive doctor because, when you get insurance, you don't get the best, nothing. But in any event, he goes to me, you better watch out. You might break your hip. And I was like, well, why would you want to say something like that? He was too dramatic for me. But in any event, I just kept working out. I didn't care what he said. I kept working out. And my hip sometime, but I have to tell you the funny thing about this, Jacob, that sometimes the body is going to hurt no matter what, because the body's a machine. It's going to break down. Some days your back is going to hurt. Some days your butt's going to hurt, your knees, your arm. It's just you're going to have a headache, it's just, that's the body. It's a machine, and that's why you have to take care of it. So the more you exercise, it protects you. It's almost like your own antibiotic too, in a way, because it protects you from diseases you don't even know you could have prevented, like heart problems. It takes care of a lot, cancer. It takes care of a lot. That's why I do it. I'm preventing. You're preventing yourself, and it'll keep you younger too, and you'll look younger, and you'll feel better. And your energy is incredible. It's on top of the world, I would say. Like I exercise 20 minutes. I listen to meditation music, but I did like 20 minutes of like floor music with crunches. I'm really into getting like, my girl pack on, and that's it, but I feel great. I will not stop. And everybody called me the discipline queen.
That's great. I think we have a special visitor here. That Scar City, you there, sir? Scar City. Scar City. I don't know. I think he's there. Scar City, you're there? And he stopped by, and maybe he's on mute though. But we roll into what you just spoke about, mental health and trauma. And this, like, again, I know you and I spoke about it offline, Rae Rae, but like mental health is huge in trauma and this country right now. And I just wanted to know this, like, again, this is just your opinion. What could we do in this country to, I'm not saying stop, but like I was in Colombia for an example, and we donated money to a school in Cartagena, right? In Colombia.
That's beautiful. Good for you.
No, I appreciate that. And we'd like to involve all our guests like yourself too to help us, to donate to the school. And it helped not just children in America that go hungry, but like those kids were so happy. And my point is that I come back to the States, everybody's depressed, and we have everything here. So it's like someone from New York City, it's like I wouldn't want to know like what you think about like how could we as a nation, not just in New York City, but how can we be I'm not saying happier, but stop this. Like you have kids in Cartagena that aren't even eating food and they're happy. And when I was
it's gratitude. It's gratitude. You have to be grateful for what you want. I forgot his name. I forgot this name. Oh my God. He is somebody I really want to meet. He is incredible. He's Jewish. And I forgot his name is TJ something. And he did this thing on gratitude. And I didn't read his book, but what he does every day, he says he went through this whole thing. He does more data. And he was saying how he does this thing about gratitude. So when he drinks a cup of coffee, he's grateful for the people that pick the coffee. He's grateful for their hands. And he goes through this whole regimen of how he got his cup of coffee and the sip. And he makes his kids do it. And it's just so beautiful. It's incredible. I want to meet him because I've never heard somebody speak about gratitude like he speaks about gratitude. He speaks about the gratitude of the people that, put the bean inside the earth to grow the coffee. Then the people that pick the coffee, the people that prepare to pick coffee, the people that make the cups of coffee. every little thing about the cup of coffee that he drinks, he's grateful for. And that's incredible, because I've never heard anybody say great gratitude like that at all.
Scar don't know you're good. No, Scar City's here. He's gonna come off mute. I think he there he is.
Peace, love and light. You hear me?
Hey, how are you? What's up?
Oh, blessings. Life is great. Life is great. Everything you just said about like him, that's great. Like I'm here listening, and I'm like, we need to do more of that. We need to have more like people that concentrate on people that are giving back and people that are not, just, I want to say it like that, but like low life, right? Like, we all need to be able to prepare, and we all need to be able to shed light on the world, because it's a short life, and we're very limited in what we can give in a short time frame. It's a very short time frame that we're here. And when you think about history from the beginning, I from the beginning, but there are certain time periods, like there's a lot that we give. So I appreciate you being here.
And how we deal with mental health.
Well, I think a lot of people have mental health and they don't know it. I think a lot of people are mentally ill and they don't want to recognize it because they try to hide behind their culture. Oh, that's my way. No, it's not your way. You got issues and nobody took care of it when you were young. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I had an ex-boyfriend. He was bipolar, and I'm not staying with somebody bipolar. I'm not a doctor. You could be patient person in the world, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can handle everything you come against and come up to, and how do I stay mentally grounded? For me personally, I don't compare myself to everybody, and I just try to be the best me the way I am.
I appreciate it. No, I really do. Thank you. And I know that was tough to get through, and we're about to finish it out and close out here. And Rae Rae, like, we gotta have you on. Like we do a certain series where we have certain guests come on monthly, or not monthly but quarterly, and it's awesome to hear a perspective like yourself. So one of the last questions. You're welcome. One of the last questions, we finish it out. Scar City was the one actually that asked this question to an educator. It's interesting. It's a two-part question. It's one of the last questions. Is the fact, on your opinion, on our current administration, primarily, I'm not talking about Congress, I'm talking about the president.
I think Joe Biden is I have to say he's doing his best. That's all he could do in his job, and I appreciate him, but he's not crazy like the other one. He's not. He doesn't have mental illness like that. He's old, but all of them are old. Like Clarence Thomas, all of them are too old. I used to always get this imagination taking a bowling ball and just going through Congress and knocking them all out and let the pins fall and bring up some new blood. They need new people. They need new inspired people that know about AIs. They need that, I think Joe Biden is smart, much more smarter than Trump. So I'm going to give him his kudos, even if he's old, because I know I'm from older parents, so I can't say nothing about old people because I'm getting old too. I do not like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I do not like, they just lie too much. And you got to get away from lying, because lying is not good. Lying is like a spider web. Just keep going and it's going to trap you one day.
The last part of the question was, if there were a woman that was elected to be a president of this country, do you think some of the issues would be addressed? And potentially, I want to bring up the deficit. Our current deficit is over $32 trillion. And it's just kind of scary, because if you know who we're in debt to, I'm not going to get into that. But the question is that if there were a woman that were elected president, do you think that she could change things?
Absolutely, because women are groomed like that. We're already management when we're young. Some women, not all women, but yeah, we have to learn how to do more than most men do. And men should be ashamed on themselves. They should let us step up. You can't get anywhere. Let me tell you one thing about business. You can't get anywhere unless we're all in it together, all nationality and all sexes, period. It doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, it doesn't matter. You got to work in a team effort for one nation under all. That's it. And I think a woman would lead better because she will know who could do this, who could do that faster than men. I think men sometimes they sit too long and they debate too long. And you can't debate when you run in a world, when you run in a country. You can't debate that much. You have to take action. And they don't take action. They do too, it's too slow. I think women are faster. That's all. What do you think, Jacob?
I think I'm glad you. It's amazing. You remind me of someone that I interviewed that I met at Clubhouse. I've done 2 interviews. I'm glad you asked me that question. What do I think?
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't. The answer is that my mom always told me women are smarter than men, and I think that's my answer. And I think
well,
it doesn't answer your question. It doesn't answer your question.
No, it doesn't.
It answers your question if you on a philosophical deep. Women are smarter than men. We're not. I'm not gonna like. You asked it.
No, women are quicker than men. That's basically it. We're just quick.
That's smarter than men.
I've seen quick men too.
No, quick men too. But I mean, in terms of emotion, we're talking about now. Like, and my mom, when she said, my mom's 77, right? She's always like, women are smarter than men. And what your point is, and I'm not like agreeing or disagreeing with what you're saying. What I mean by that is that they can make decisions without being emotional at all because of all the pain that women go through. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, it's almost like cooking, Jacob. It's like, my mom, she didn't have to always have the recipe with her. She always had it in her head. And there's certain things women always carry with them. So they just already know. So that's why they know. That's why they're quicker, because their frontal cortex is longer, I think. I think the brain, certain things in the brain for women are longer than men. And I think that has to do with hormones. I think estrogens are probably longer than men's estrogen. Men's have estrogen too, but maybe because they have lack of it.
Not to interrupt you, testosterone, I think, is what you're referring to.
Right. Testosterone is shorter, I think, in length. Like if you was to measure it, it's shorter. So the mind is going to be shorter thinking spans. Women have to think linear. We always think in linear, always thinking ahead. Like I always think ahead. Like I'm already into Sunday and it's Saturday. I just will always be like that. I can't. Sometimes I move so fast, Jacob, I have to tell you, I have to recheck that I did it, because that's how fast I move sometimes.
Right. So lastly, as we close it out, is there any last thoughts that you'd like to share? Or anything you'd like to share before we close it out here?
Well, yeah, I made up something, and I just want to share it with your audience. And it goes like this. I made this in honor of my mother. It was cold in New York City. I was jumping on a trampoline in my living room, of course, and I have high ceilings. So I made this up, and it goes like this. You, my friend, are a part of the awesome sauce that makes the world go around. And without you, there's not enough sizzle, zizzle, or jazz. So keep being special and step in your greatness. I am Rae Rae, and you can find me on social media. I'm Rae Rae Jinks. My company's name is Rae Rae Star, INC. I'm on Instagram, Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Clapper. I did not join Threads yet, but I think next week I will.
That was the last question. How can people reach you? But you just answered it.
Yeah. What did you like about my awesome sauce stuff?
No, I think it's amazing. I think that we want to leader on all emotion is to just reach people, and I believe and the awesome sauce was amazing. You know what I mean? And this is quick. I like it. You're to the point. Thank you again, Rae Rae, for stopping by and sharing your powerful story. We hope to see you back here again soon on AIM. Just want to say quickly that your book called Woo That Hat is coming out. So, ladies and gentlemen, be on the lookout for that. Please also, if you have not, please go to allemotion.com and sign up for our mailing list. It's a very simple process, ladies and gentlemen. You subscribe, it's right at the top. Or if you're on a device, it's on the 3 dots right there on the side. From Scar City, the AIM team. Take care.